Generally, you start with some kind of either an ISO or a service organization controls audit. So ISO certification, which we do a great deal of. Originally, you would see like a 9001, which is basically manufacturer certification. Now you're seeing a lot of 27000 series, which are essentially IT operations type certifications. And so you'll see ISO certification that basically says that you design, build, and operate to a specific standard. And that there's a process for improvement, a process for monitoring, a process for quality control. And most of it really centers around quality control and making sure that you're not a bunch of chuckleheads, as one of my former instructors would state. So service organization control audits are different. So where you become certified to ISO, a service organization control audit is run through AICPA, American Institute of CPAs. And so you're pulling in a CPA to validate that you do what you say you do. And so this audit is a little bit more, I don't want to say loosey-goosey, but you've got to be a little more careful in how you consume it. Now, there's a lot more information, and in my opinion, in most use cases, I find it much more revelatory or valuable than an ISO certification. Because ISO certification will tell you there's a quality program and there's this and there's great. SOC will get into how they do it. Like SOC will actually open up the kimono and let's see what's going on here. But you got to be really careful, because in a SOC, there are minimum standards you have to meet, and then there's whatever the auditee says the auditor validates. So if I say I have security, okay, what's that mean? So I run a data center. I used to do this, in a previous life. I have security. What does that mean? That means I have a 99-year-old man at the front desk, Barney Fife. He has a bullet in his pocket, he has an empty gun, and he has a very old hound dog. Security, great. As long as my narrative says that, the auditor will come in. Please don't get up. Dog, got it. Bullet, got it. Check. Okay, everything's good. Now, if I say I have SEAL Team 6 on hot standby, the auditor will come in. Where's the team? Where's the training records? Where's the ammunition records? Let's see if these guys are getting trained. Let's see how they're marked. They'll check everything. So the neat part is that you can get a much more involved statement of exactly what's going on, and the auditor validating that it is in fact going on. Very useful. The downside of this is that you can get a bunch of washy junk. Right? I got really good security. Well, what does that mean? Well, if it's not really validate, then the auditor has very little to validate. And so the auditor will check, and their notes will show it, but now you've got to dig in to exactly what they validated, what they saw, how they did it. Right? So you've got to read that a lot more closely. There's a lot more information in it. So those are service organization controls audits. You're going to see, we're already seeing a lot more of them. I've been a big fan of these for a long time. They keep changing their name. They were originally a SAS 70, then they became a SSA 16, they became an AT 101, now I think they're SSA 18. But it's a service organization controls SOC 2. SOC 1 is as regards to financial affairs. That's probably doesn't matter. How we handle our finances might be vaguely interesting, but not what you care about. SOC 2, availability, confidentiality, security, processing integrity, that kind of thing. And that's really useful. And you're starting to see those on the call routing side. Pretty much all the RFPs put in every customer one now. On the call handling side, just starting to get into them. It really applies for a managed service provider. Within any system where you're providing a managed service, the core question, to use my favorite phrase, are they chuckleheads? Do they know what they're doing? Do they have a process for it? Are they mature? Where are they at in the growth and evolution? And a SOC audit's usually a pretty good way to do it. And so SOC reports are issued. One of the nice things about them is that you end up with a relationship between the consumer of the report and the auditor that bypasses the person being audited. So that if the auditor later finds out something interesting, the auditor can reach out directly to the report recipient and tell them, hey, I ran the audit on XYZ company. It's now occurred to me that the audit on XYZ company, I didn't check. That was actually a straw figure. It wasn't a real person. I felt obligated to make you know of this. And that's a level of assurance that's really nice.